All right, what's going on, Austin? How we doing on this lovely Thursday evening of Reds baseball watching?
I think it was during the pre or the pre-show stream last night. I'm like, man, they used up all their runs last night. I really wish I was wrong about that, but that's here we are.
Yeah, Jesus Luzardo, a little bit of a tougher cat than the parade of bullpen arms that the Reds saw last night. But hey, you never know. Heart of the order here.
And it
Well,
gets magic.
sort of the heart of the order. The heart of the order actually starts in the leadoff spot again. All right, there we go. There we go. We might have to get
Little
synced up
JJ
here,
Bleday
Austin.
single.
Oh, did you just see it?
I did,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna hit fast forward here because for whatever reason, like I get behind. I have no idea why. It's
Yeah, no
also
worries.
it's also close out of the tab. The Louisville bats. Sorry, Louisville. Let's make sure we can get everything else up. And
We might have to get our deep drive from the bats tonight, but we'll see.
well, we have a deep drive. We have a really good deep drive for the minor leagues. We'll leave that as a tease, but it would be nice
Uh,
to replace that.
nah, man. I mean, talk about too efficient starting pitching outings. I was wondering if it'd still be light out when we go live here, man, but it's close.
Yeah, I finished getting the kids to bed, and it was I look up, it's the bottom of the sixth, and I'm like it was legitimately like 8:15, and I was like it was 10
Really,
o'clock in the bottom of the sixth last night.
no doubt. Yeah, I was worried you might not be able to put the kids to bed.
We got it. We got them to bed. We got them to bed. Still not as bad as the godforsaken 6:40 start times.
I was kind of surprised they didn't do that last night with the concert or whatever.
Yeah. On the radio last night, they were saying that they kept pointing out that uh, there was a late arriving crowd. I think there was a lot of people that legitimately just didn't get there till like the game was almost
Yeah,
over.
there was a concert that happened to have a baseball game in front of it.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think that was a majority of the fan base there.
Hey, man, whatever puts butts in seats.
Oh wow.
Oh, for wheels.
Oh, all right. That was a ballsy stole a base against old Real Muto back there.
All right.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, he's still good defensively, not so much offense this year, but
Wow. All right. We got a super chat, Austin, from BCK or BCK or no, sorry, BCZK019. Super chat hitting lessons from the Chris Valleca Get Hype. Did you see that? They're auctioning
uh,
off that.
I saw they were auctioning it off. What a night to auction it off, too. But yeah,
That hit him or the bat?
hit by pitch.
Oh, that's.
I don't know.
I thought for sure it hit the bat when I was watching live. Just like how the sound.
Yeah, I got no
No, that
sound.
was
It's
that was
right on my
straight his
phone.
arm. Oh wow, my bad. Wow.
All right.
Oh god, that
Well,
had to hurt. Oh man.
oh my gosh. Yeah, dude. I don't know how these guys do that.
Oh, I would be crying. I would be. I've never played this game again. Get me out of here. Oh.
I hit my arm on my work desk and I'm down for the count.
Well, the sound of that was like a bat. Like that's how hard it hit him in his. Oh man, tough dude. Optimistic John wants a double steal here.
I'm gonna get too greedy, but I'd take it. Suarez could completely redeem himself. What's the Kalshi odds on a strikeout on a ball in the dirt?
After getting behind 0-1, probably pretty high. All right, in case you aren't watching this incredible baseball game, Reds have 2 runners on, no one out. Eugenio Suarez at the plate. It's an 0-2 count. I'm seeing 10, 9, 8, 7 on the pitch clock. Are we close?
I just saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't worry about it.
Suarez strikes out. You know what? At least he didn't hit into a double play.
If they happen to walk it off, I'll contain my emotions.
What a guy.
Because the game's made up and points don't matter.
He didn't even have to waste a pitch. Stevenson's been swinging a hot bat.
Yeah, he's had some good contact tonight, at least, too. Even that ground out he had, I thought was decent. I'd almost feel worse if the Reds had like bases loaded, no outs.
All right, Stevenson at the plate. 2 on, 1 out, 1-1 count. Bladay's on second. Steers on first. Is this the Reds' best chance of the night?
Probably. They had that one inning, the fifth, where they had like first and third. But yeah, I mean, outside of that,
Not been a lot of chances.
all right. I don't know if you saw it, but
I saw it.
Noelvi Marte.
All right,
Help us, Obi-Wan, your only hope.
Two on, 2 out. Noelvi Marte. Duran is up to 20 pitches. And let's do a show. Reds lose.
Go live.
And a bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. That goes Clemente. And the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. He's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Perkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field.
Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch.
Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you.
That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the wall. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Reds win. Line to right field. Genius, the first Red ever. With 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, well, hey, what's going on? Welcome into a losing edition of Chatterbox Reds. Nick Kirby joined once again by Austin Layton as Trace Fowler on vacation this week. Thankfully, far, far away from this baseball team. Austin, how are we hanging in there tonight?
We got spoiled with the one last night, so it was only inevitable that we'd have a night like tonight. But doing okay. I guess if you're gonna lose, make it a quick one. So I'm here. I'm ready to talk some Reds. How you doing?
That's a good point. You know what? If the Reds are going to make it quick, I think we should make it quick tonight as well in their honor. So yeah, I am in that mode tonight. It's just like, to be honest, there's just not much to talk about right now. I mean, probably the most interesting thing is let's talk a little bit about Brady Singer's trade value and then Reds minor league baseball. I mean, other than that, there's really just not much more to talk about. If you have something you really want to talk about in the chat, feel free. Let us know. I don't have a whole lot. So, Austin, if you're ready, I'm sure the box score recap on this show is probably a little bit lighter than last night's show. But give us the box score recap here in a second. The box score recap is presented by Sharefax Credit Union. Since Sharefax partners with Cincinnati second baseman Matt McClain, who wears number 9, they figured they'd have a little fun with the number 2. That's why they're offering a $999 closing cost special on home loans. If you're ready to buy a home or refinance, now's the perfect time to step up to the plate. Call today and see how much you can save. Restrictions apply. Contact Sharefax for details at 513-753-2440 or visit sharefax.org. Sharefax Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender and insured by NCUA.
All right, Nick. Box score recap. Reds lose 1-0. Back to you. No, I'm just kidding. But let's go with a quick recap here. It's Game 3, Phillies versus Reds at GABP. You mentioned Brady Singer versus Jesus Luzardo. Who knew it was going to be a battle of budding Cy Young contenders tonight? But it was a very pitch-efficient game, honestly, for both starters through 7 innings. Really nothing to report too much before that point. Really only the Reds threatened once, I'd say, in the 5th inning. They got first and third in the 5th with 2 outs, though, so they didn't score. And then the Phillies finally got on the board in the 8th after 7 shutout innings by Brady Singer. Rincones was hit by a pitch to start the inning. He was moved over with a ground out and then scored on a single by Justin Crawford to give the Phillies their 1-0 lead that would ultimately hold for the rest of the game. And really, the bright spot, I guess, after that, I wanted to call out at least, was when Singer was pulled after he walked Trey Turner. After all that happened, he was lifted for Sam Moll, who ended up striking out both Schwarber and Harper to get out of the inning. So that was a good kind of way to break the momentum, so to speak. But the Reds really couldn't find any way to do anything with it. Luzardo would finally leave too, but the Reds really couldn't get anything going offensively. This is a game where the Reds struck out a total of 14 times. 11 of those were Luzardo's, so it was really a tough time for the Reds offense. Ironically, on a night they were auctioning off a hitting clinic with Chris Valleca, so slammed the Reds hotline there. But Brady Singer, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, one earned run, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. A very solid outing by Singer, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But that's really all to report on this one, Nick. I don't know if there's anything other that you wanted to talk about, at least from the box score side of things, but that is my recap.
Slam the hotline. I love that. All right, we did have a deep drive of the day, obviously not from your Cincinnati Reds, but we had a fun one down on the farm. Alfredo Duno, Reds' #1 prospect, hit his 19th home run of the season in the 6th inning for Chattanooga. Duno already with 3 home runs in his first 8 games since getting promoted to Double-A. And our deep drive of the day is brought to you by Braxton Brewing Company, the official craft beer partner of the Cincinnati Reds. Crack open a ballpark beer, a crisp German-style light beer, crafted perfectly for 9 innings and hot summer nights. You can grab a cold one at Great American Ballpark, Braxton Tap Rooms, or your local retailer. Braxton Brewing, brewed for Reds country. Braxton Brewing is also the presenting sponsor of Cincinnati's biggest golf event of the summer, the $100,000 prize pool 2-person scramble, the Chatterbox Championship. The Chatterbox Championship is now accepting teams, featuring a new format with 2 divisions designed for fair competition. Sign your team up today at 513golf.com. Let's just jump right into it. We'll start off with the old Reds offense. What a 3 days. They get struck out 18 times on Tuesday night in the series opener with Zach Wheeler on the mound. On Wednesday night, they score 11 runs. And then on Thursday night, they get struck out 14 times in a shutout loss. Just par for the course with this team. There's been some fun nights, and you'll get that with any team. But this team does seem like it has a little bit more of that extreme than maybe some of your typical bad teams would. It's been frustrating to watch, and there has been players that have played well offensively this year, but the lineup's just not deep enough. I mean, that's the biggest issue. And when you have a lineup that relies on 2 or 3 guys, you're going to struggle to score runs consistently. And yes, Zach Wheeler and Jesus Luzardo are very good pitchers on a good team that's going to make the playoffs. But this offense just is not good enough.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's kind of the usual suspects with the Reds and the strikeouts too. Ellie, has had strikeout kind of problems in the past with, being tops of the league in that category. 3 of them tonight. And then Suarez, knew that was what, Suarez was kind of brought in. And, he's a guy that has a high strikeout rate. He struck out 3 times tonight too. And unfortunately, it's kind of been the story for Suarez. He hasn't hit the home runs to kind of balance out the strikeouts that he would bring to the table. But to your point, I mean, it's just, and I get the game's kind of going there too with baseball in general. Pitchers are kind of getting more strikeouts and guys, are striking out more on the offensive side. But man, it just seems frustrating when the Reds just continuously do it and really can't get any type of rally going. You said it. There's not much to say about tonight's performance, but it was just a really flat offensive performance after, the gangbusters last night. But and I don't think anybody's surprised by it, honestly. It'd be one thing if this was out of the norm and the Reds were doing their typical, Reds making guys look like they're the best pitchers ever. But these are actually some good pitchers that they were facing, which, you can at least explain it a little bit that way, but it doesn't make it any more fun in the real time watching it, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just not fun. And it was a really interesting comment I saw on X tonight from a guy named Brandon. He's been a Reds Twitter guy for a long time. been a good follow. And like he was talking about Ke'Bryan Hayes. Ke'Bryan had another good night at Louisville, and he's like, I'd rather see Ke'Bryan Hayes than Eugenio Suarez. Now I don't know if the rest of Reds fans are like that. I clearly am like that. I've been on that train all year, but yeah, I mean, like at least Ke'Bryan Hayes does what he was brought in to do well. Where just Eugenio Suarez has just been really bad. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with him, because I don't know, maybe there's a team that will like just take him like to pay a tiny piece of his salary just to kind of get a bat. You know, maybe he could get put into a platoon role on some sort of contender that could use a platoon bat. But I really hope he's not on this team in the second half. Like, and I like the guy. I loved Eugenio Suarez during his first tour with the Reds. One of the easiest Reds players ever to root for, but he just is no part of the future of this team. The Reds have no business in bringing this guy back, and they would just be wasting giving him at-bats in the second half. So that's where I'm at. I mean, I don't think this organization has the stones, though, to just straight up DFA him if they get to August 4th and he's still on the roster.
I'd be surprised that, if they DFA'd him for sure. But yeah, I mean, to your point, if he's not going to be in the long-term plans for this team and he has any value at this point and you're out of it, I mean, you might as well shop him for something. I echo everything that you said. You know, I absolutely love the guy as a Reds fan. You know, was hoping for him to just come in and have a great year for the Reds, obviously. But it just hasn't happened. And it's unfortunate. He is probably a guy that I'd still say has some clout around the league just from name recognition value, but it stinks he hasn't statistically really done anything to boost that value, like a guy we'll probably talk about here in our next segment. But it's interesting for me. I think I commented to Chatterbox's own Craig's tweet the other night, basically talking about Ke'Bryan Hayes. And I'm like, man, the season started. I'm like, man, we got to get Hayes out of there, put Suarez in at third. That's got to be better. And now I've like totally flipped. I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing Hayes out there maybe a little bit, because obviously Suarez hasn't done much from the offensive side, but he's had some defensive miscues that haven't necessarily killed the season or anything for the Reds, certainly. But you'd have to imagine that Ke'Bryan Hayes would have made some of those plays with just how dang good he is defensively. So I don't know, man. It's tough because we see it all the time with guys killing it in AAA and it doesn't equate. But if they can get really any offensive production out of Ke'Bryan Hayes, I mean, it at least make me feel a little bit better about his salary and just having him on the team in general, because he's another guy that I put on the Nick Krall Hall of Fame of moves for the Reds up until now. So, and I say that sarcastically if you don't get that. But I don't know. It's just a tough night. I think you summed it up well with the LOL subject line, and I think we beat it into the ground.
All right, let's move on to, I guess, the biggest positive right now from this night for sure, and that was Brady Singer, who was absolutely dominant. If the circumstances weren't different, maybe he even gets pulled earlier, but just kind of given how lackluster this offense looked, I don't blame Francona for sticking him out there. But Singer, since June 1st, now 7 starts, has a 2.77 ERA. And he had one clunker in there, 4 1/3, where he gave up 5 runs to the Pirates. Other than that, let me read these off. One earned run, 2 earned runs, 0, 1, 2, 1. So he's been very, very good. And obviously Singer is, I think, the easiest guy in the entire Reds organization for them to trade for multiple reasons. Number one, he's owed a decent amount of money, so it's not going to be hard to convince the Reds ownership, for the front office, hey, we should sell this guy at the deadline during a year where we're going nowhere. He's the easiest one because he's a guy that actually he's making money, but he also has some trade value. And then he also does have some legitimate trade value. How much, I don't know. Like the Reds traded for Zach Littell last year at the deadline. Reds gave up Adam Serwinowski, I think was their number 9 or number 10 prospect at the time. I don't think the Reds are probably going to be able to get that high of a return for Singer, just because Singer is owed a lot more money than Littell. I think Littell was on a $5 million deal last year, where Singer, I think, is on $14 million. So he is owed a decent amount of money now. If there is even a slimmer amount of sellers this year versus last year, then maybe you can capitalize on it a little bit more, and maybe you could get that good of a return. We'll see how that shakes out. Like, it's also kind of hard out here on July 9th to kind of be able to predict how many buyers and sellers there's going to be, because there could be a lot of shuffling. I mean, we've seen it in years past with the Reds. Just last year, I don't think anyone thought the Reds were going to be sellers at certain points of July. Then I think they swept the Rays, and then they decided to buy, but they were legitimately the 3-game losing streak away from being, I don't know if they would have sold hard last year, but they certainly would not have been buyers like they were. So Singer to me is the easiest and obvious choice for the Reds to trade, and he's obviously pitching very well. I wouldn't necessarily, Austin, like, be like, hey, other teams, like, look what he's doing. Like, they're not going to pull this over on other GMs. But he's not pitching poorly. That's kind of the biggest thing. That's the big thing. I don't think, like, him pitching well over 7 starts is going to make a team drastically overpay for him, but it's definitely a positive thing.
No, I agree. And I think I could see it maybe for a team that's, maybe dealing with some pitching injuries in their depth of their rotation, maybe, the 3, 4, 5 type of guys, and just need some guys to, fill in and, not be below average pitcher essentially. But yeah, I mean, to your point, Singer's done very well in his past couple starts for sure. I mean, I was looking at the line tonight, and I mean, if you took the names out of like the pitching performance we got tonight from Singer versus Burns from last night, like, you could easily have convinced me like tonight was the line that you got from Burns instead of Singer. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts versus 3 runs last night and 2 strikeouts for Burns. So I don't know. I mean, you definitely like to see it, I guess, from a, I don't know, momentum aspect of going into the deadline and, hey, at least this guy's doing pretty well. But, he's still got an ERA over 4, so I don't think it's going to really fool anybody, to your point. But definitely good to at least get some quality starts out of him while he's with the Reds, certainly. And then, if it, tips the scale maybe slightly, more so than it would if he was just getting lit up like he was earlier in the year, then, you got to chalk that up as a minor win in a season that doesn't have too many wins for the Reds. So it'll be interesting. I think, yeah, to your point, I mean, just with where his kind of time left with this team is, he's probably one of the easiest guys to trade. And the good news is he's pretty much, I probably don't want to jinx it, but knock on wood, he's usually a guy that can, be durable and healthy for a team. So you would think that at least has some value on the trade market, but we shall see.
I think that aspect of it that you just hit on is far more valuable to teams than his current run. I think the run is just kind of okay, he's fine, there's nothing wrong with him type of thing. But I think teams are going to value the fact that this dude has taken the ball every 5th day, knock on wood, for however long he's been pitching in the big leagues. So I think that's what it was. But I give him credit tonight. He hit 11 hard hit balls, but he only walked 1 batter tonight. And this is a Phillies lineup that against right-handed pitching is pretty good. We talked about coming into the series that they were really bad against left-handed pitching. I thought this was a great matchup for Andrew Abbott, but their whole bread and butter has been hitting right-handed pitching. So this is, and Schwarber and Harper just doesn't really feel like a great matchup for Brady Singer, and in this ballpark here at Great American Ballpark. So kudos to him. That was a really good start, and hopefully something that will help the Reds here in about 3 or 3.5 weeks. I don't have anything else on this game. Do you have anything else on this game, Austin?
No, silver lining though, no home run from Schwarber tonight. I guess Singer did something the first 2 starters of the series couldn't do, or I can't remember for against the starters, but at least the pitching staff as a whole. So I will take that. But no, I mean, I think this game was unfortunately not much to talk about, but we move on.
Tyler Stevenson, he was at a bad at-bat, I think, in the 9th inning, but he's been swinging the bat better. I thought Edwin Arroyo had a couple pretty good swings tonight. Kind of hit the balls into the ground, but a couple decent swings from him. So, yeah, that's pretty much all that I've got on this incredible baseball game. We do want to tell you, though, that today's episode of Chatterbox Reds is brought to you by Richter & Phillips, getting Cincinnati engaged since 1896. Located just a few blocks from Great American Ballpark in downtown Cincinnati, Richter and Phillips is family-owned and operated right here in Cincinnati. They're not a chain. They're a local team that's been serving the city for well over a century. Whether you're looking for the perfect engagement ring or shopping for diamonds, Richter and Phillips has the largest selection in the area. You can book an appointment using the link in our YouTube or podcast description, or just stop by. Walk-ins are always welcome. Shout out to Richter and Phillips. All right, let's just go ahead and jump into some Reds MILB. There's teams still playing, so it's not going to be a maybe as good of a version. We do post on the Chatterbox Twitter account. We do post like a kind of final recap, so you can check out that if you want to look a little bit deeper into this. We'll start for AAA with the Louisville Bats. They did finish, and they got a win 11-6 over Omaha. The Bats improved to, I believe, 7-7 in the second half. We'll start off with the pitching. Jose Acuna went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits and 5 runs. Zach Maxwell went an inning and 2/3, gave up 1 unearned run, but no walks and 2 strikeouts. Luis May threw a scoreless inning as well. On the offensive side, Brian Hayes stayed hot, 2 for 3 with a double and a walk. Hector Rodriguez was 0 for 4. Will Benson back in the lineup. He was 0 for 2. Austin Hendricks was 2 for 4 with a walk. Chattanooga, they're currently leading Rocket City 4-2. The Lookouts actually had a no-hitter going for a while in that one. Actually through the first 7 2/3 innings. Shout out Craig Salem behind the scenes working hard. Obviously, we mentioned Alfredo Duno had already homered in that one. They're currently in the bottom of the 7th. Dayton is trailing Great Lakes 13-7. And then we had one other game go final. The Daytona Tortugas. They beat Palm Beach 9-1. Our Tortugas, they currently hold a playoff spot. They entered a half game ahead of a playoff spot, so they're playing much better baseball of late. And how about our guy Sheng-In Lin? 5 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs. Did walk 4 batters, but struck out 4. And Sheng-In Lin is not allowed to run over his last 11 2/3 innings. Last 3 starts overall, 15 innings, just 1 run allowed. Big night from Ichiro Kano. He was 3 for 4, hit his 4th home run of the year, also drove in 6 runs. Kyle Henley was 1 for 4, stole a pair of bases. Arnaldo Lantigua was 0 for 4 with a walk. And AJ Worse in the chat, you'll be devastated to know that the 2 Dominican Summer League teams were rained out today. The DSL Reds and the DSL Rojos, and the Arizona Complex League Reds, they were off today. So that is your Reds MILB. Your Reds MILB is presented by our friends at 78 Cigars. Cincinnati legend Anthony Munoz has a new venture, and we're fired up to partner with it here on Chatterbox Reds. Introducing 78 Cigars, a premium cigar line from the Hall of Famer himself. If you love great cigars in Cincinnati football history, well, this is the perfect combination. You can grab 78 Cigars right now at both Montgomery locations or over at Creekside Cigar Company. You can also check them out online. Just head to anthonymunoz.com, click on the 78 Cigars page, and learn more or place your order today. That's 78 Cigars from the greatest offensive lineman to ever do it, Anthony Munoz. Austin, any MILB thoughts? Anyone kind of standing out to you? You've maybe seen some highlights. Anyone that kind of has piqued your interest of late?
Not tonight, but Hector Rodriguez. I mean, 4 home runs in this past 2 games prior to today. So, I mean, shoot, that guy just continues to rake. So, we'd love to see him, on the major league roster before the end of the year. But I don't know. It's fun watching the Chattanooga guys and whatnot too. I think it doesn't bode well for the current Reds, but years to come, I think guys like Deneau, I think, could be huge playmakers. But now, man, it's tough because the Reds, major league roster isn't great, and there's not really any immediate replacements that you see coming up in the minors either. You're waiting and seeing, but we'll see.
Yeah, Hector Rodriguez. I'm okay waiting until the trade deadline, but if he's not up here on August 4th, I'm going to be pretty disappointed with that. All right, we do have one more series here, Austin, before the All-Star break. The Reds are going to welcome the Chicago Cubs to town for 3 games before the All-Star break. Friday, 7:10, it'll be Hunter Green up against Shoto Imanaga. Saturday, also at 7:10, Nick Lodolo against Javier Assad. And then Sunday at 1:40, Andrew Abbott against the lefty Matthew Boyd. Now, the Cubs, they had a 3-game win streak snapped earlier on Thursday afternoon. Cubs, though, 52-41 overall, 12-4 in their last 16 games. Pete Crow Armstrong hit 2 home runs on Wednesday. He was the National League Player of the Month in June. Also the Cubs' only All-Star. The Cubs' bullpen has been really struggling, probably their biggest glaring weakness, something they're certainly going to look to address at the trade deadline. One obscure stat that I saw, the Cubs haven't shut out a team in 45 consecutive games. That's their longest drought since 2021. And in fact, they've only gone 2 times in their franchise history have they gone 50 consecutive games. So the Reds could get them pretty close to that. Although I have a feeling that there's a good chance that they end that streak this weekend. This pitching matchup here on Friday, Shota Imanaga really pitched well against the Reds early this year. He threw 6 innings of 1-run baseball back on May 7th. But Hunter Green making his second start of the year. His last start against the Cubs was that 1-hit shutout in late September that really helped propel the Reds into the postseason. Austin, kind of any thoughts here on Hunter Green making start number 2? Obviously, it would just be really nice to see him put one really good start together. It's against the Cubs, so you have a little bit more juice than kind of anything else with this team right now. You'd love to get a win on a Friday night. Fireworks Friday, City Connect Friday. Love to have Hunter Green come out and shove.
Yeah, remember when that used to mean something, the City Connect Fridays? You feel pretty good about an exciting game. But no, honestly, for Hunter Green, start 2, since he came back last weekend, I guess, really just looking for kind of the durability. If he can at least go 4 or 5 innings, I think you chalk that up as a win in the moral column. But if you can get a actual W out of it, it'd be even better. But I just hope he can continue to kind of develop his durability into the rest of the year. And really, if he can, we knocking on wood twice tonight, but if he can at least get through the rest of the year without any setbacks and things like that, I think that's just, huge for the organization as a whole. I'm going to the game Saturday, so we'll see what goes on there, but I wish I was seeing Hunter Green at least in, dominant fashion, but he's pitching tomorrow, so that's okay. But yeah, hopefully the Cubs, don't finally get their shutout, I guess is the objectivity I'm going in with.
Yeah, just don't get shut out. Don't get shut out. Don't get swept. Those are our 2 goals this weekend. Anything else is gravy beyond that. That's what we're rooting for. Well, Austin, appreciate you coming on the last 2 nights, helping us out. You've been a huge help here on Chatterbox, whereas we'll continue to have you throughout the year as much as you want to talk about the Reds as we get closer to football season. We'll be here. I think it's Craig and Mike tomorrow night. I have one night off this week, so I'm gonna enjoy that. No, I think I'm off the next 2 nights. I'm off the next 2 nights, but I will be working on Saturday because it is the MLB draft on Saturday. I'll try to get a video up relatively quick after the Reds pick on Saturday, and then we'll try to do some coverage into the All-Star break. Probably not gonna have a whole lot of coverage, to be honest, but we'll try to have some coverage here on the draft, who the Reds pick, try to give you some insight into those picks, and hopefully the Reds can add some more talent, because this organization certainly does not have a super overabundance of talent. So hopefully they can have a really good draft, we got some good players, and hopefully get this thing back on the right track at some point in the near future. All right, well, appreciate everyone tuning in for a very, very bad baseball team, and we hopefully it wasn't a very, very bad post-game show. We'll continue to do it for all 162, as always, and as most importantly, go Reds.